G'day everyone, I'm JAZZA'S. I'm going to do exactly what I said in the title and thumbnail of this video, and that is mishmash and swap the Pokemon types with various Gen 1 Pokemon. I'm starting with Gen 1 first of all because I'm an old fogey, but this could be a good way to familiarize myself because if you like this video, every time I come back to this concept, I'm going to add another generation. But we're starting pretty simple and straightforward. Now to help me do this, Rob has made me this program, this game. At the moment, it's loaded with only Gen 1 Pokemon and mainly the core type. So we don't have bug type, for example, we have grass. Same goes with ice. So we've just got water type, for example. We do have fairy and dragon. So let's see if they pop up. And all you do is you click this button, Kangaskhan Electric. You can do this yourself because we'll put in the description a link to where you can give this program a crack. No guarantee it'll run on your machine, but could be a bit of fun for you. And it's definitely a bit of fun for me here and over on Insert Art, where Alicia and Morgan, our newest guest, will be following the same adventure, but with entirely different combinations because you never get the same thing twice. So, prompt 1. Now, as my first step, I just block out some construction, basically mirroring the Kangaskhan proportions. Not really much of the details, I'm just sort of echoing the silhouette because it's in the details and then in some tweaks to the proportions that I can complement his new adopted type. Now the first places you want to start tweaking the design are the places that have the most effect on the silhouette. So the ears, the tail, in this case, we're going sharper and pointier. And in this situation, I'm going to sort of go for a lightning bolt-esque ear shape, which I think will highlight not only the type, but make the silhouette a little bit more unique than the original. Now I had the inclination to make his claws sharper and longer, reminiscent of lightning bolts. But actually what I'm going to do instead is go with really round nubs to feel like they might be the ends of a Tesla coil, and then have coils going up the length of the arm, sort of like bracelets. At the end of the day, just because he's a different type doesn't mean he looks, you know, unfriendly. Although I am saying he a lot, aren't I? But I think this is a mama Pokemon because we got a pouch here, which has caused me to Google Kangaskhan gender and learn that Kangaskhan is a female only species with no male counterpart. Our little baby Kangaskhan also has those little circle nubs, which I think makes them both a cute design, even though the shocking aesthetic of the lightning type will potentially make it look a little more threatening. I think the roundness of the coils and the fingers actually sort of serves to counterbalance that nicely. And look, it's so cute, little lightning ears, the little nubbly fingers. So I'm feeling really good about this design. Then it's just a matter of adding the line work that I can slap the color in on. Now, when it comes to color, I'll tell you what, let's just fill the whole thing in with just a flat gray and brainstorm. I'm just gonna make a clipping mask, grab a paintbrush and a sharp yellow, and what do we think? Yellow ears is obvious, so then these have to be yellow. So then what, are these yellow too? Or is that, are we too yellow now? I feel like, I mean, that sort of looks cool. But then what about the belly? Because the belly is originally yellow, but that's too yellow. Too much yellow. That's kind of cool. I don't mind that. I take it back. I'm pro yellow now. That's pretty cool. Does it feel a little flat? I feel like it does. Maybe I just make the yellow punchier. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. So I think that's our sort of color scheme. Basics. Now I just got to put it in neatly. There you go. That's my magic trick. I actually think that worked really well. Not the magic trick. That was the coloring. Oh, I forgot to color our little munchkin here. Don't want to forget you, little buddy. Maybe if I go like an electric blue. It's pretty cute. All right, there is one last thing to do actually, and this one is pretty important. I'm actually just gonna get a white brush, which obviously doesn't look like anything. But if I take my scribble, go into my layer effects, go outer glow, and pick a really cool, I think, blue. That is how we can go through here and go. I mean, come on, doesn't that make all the difference? That is so cool. I have to be honest, don't care much for Kangaskhan. This, on the other hand, I mean, what is her name? Kangasbolt. That's terrible. Kangastrike. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's an improvement. I'm biased, but I think that's an improvement. And do you know what? That's a solid first mashup. Certainly give me some confidence to click again and get, I'm instituting a new rule. If I get the same Pokemon or type, I'm gonna click again. Sorry, I'm bored of electricity. Aerodactyl Fairy. Oh, that's That's just gonna be awful and a fun challenge. So first of all, here is Aerodactyl. Now there is also a slight controversy, I think. Fairy types are no longer a type. I know this because when I made my set of drawers, there was a lot of people informing me tragically that fairy type is no longer a type. I don't care, because when I unpack my Pokemon cards, I have older Pokemon cards and I'll still buy older, so fairy type is still a type. You can still have a fairy type collection. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna add to that collection by trying to make Aerodactyl fit in with this group of fun little puffs. So I've got my chart here for reference to make sure I'm aesthetically matching, but I think this should be pretty straightforward. Just basically got to soften and cutify Aerodactyl a bit, add a lot more pink. So first order of business is to sketch out my Aerodactyl silhouette as he currently stands. And then it's to turn him into a fairy type, I just have to follow a few basic fairy type general guides and rules. Here's my current working theory. If anything's long, if anything's sharp, blunten it or make it squishy. And where there's too much detail, for example in the teeth or in any sort of anatomy, simplify it. Now just that general shortening and squishing and softening has come a long way to helping, but there are a couple of key issues with the original design as far as being squidgy and fairy type. The first is these angry eyes. They're quite sharp and angry. I mean, let's just reference out, yeah, okay. Basically, as long as we just replace it with something round with lots of shinies, there you go. Beautiful. Next, the wings. Even with the softer cutesy little finger nubs, they look like bat wings or dragon wings, which are sharp and harsh. So let's just alter these, and I think it keeps the dragon vibe, but keeps it a little more fairy type to turn them into more like dragonfly wings or butterfly wings. Last but not least, we have the teeth, which on the original, there's lots of them and they're sharp. Now there's something about the original proportions and shape of the Aerodactyl mouth that reminds me of a hippopotamus. I think it's the underbite. So I'm gonna give it this big goofy underbite, but I'm gonna go with two big bottom hippopotamus teeth that look a bit like marshmallows. That to me is a pretty solid reinvention for Aerodactyl towards the fairy type. Let's move on to line work. The line work is pretty straightforward. I'm just trying to keep everything soft and readable and really trying to just minimize detail. The color, I just sort of color dropped from the originals and just moved more towards the saturation and the pink. Because at the end of the day, the Aerodactyl colors are, purpley pinkish anyway, so it's working as a decent sort of foundation to just sort of add a little bit of extra pop and pizzazz to. In fact, the purple of the wings is kind of perfect anyway with the slightly more saturated skin tone. Clipping mask, there we go. That moment when you realize you're getting too relaxed and you haven't put on a clipping mask. Color in the lines for me, program! Now, Aerodactyl's funny because I feel like he would look really epic with kind of any other type. If he was fire or rock or whatever. I guess that's sort of a given for fairy type, but he's so like gangly and sharp-edged and bony looking that like you could probably go pretty intense and cool in any other direction. Fairy type is the polar opposite of what could look cool. But you know what? It ain't bad. It's kind of cute. Then let's add a bit of shading. That might polish it off for me. Just a soft round brush, bit of an undershade. Look at that. Look at him. There we go. What is it? Who's this one? What is it? What's he called? Aeropotamus? Pharaohdaki. That's better. Pharaohdaki. Next, let's pick the next one. Oh. No. Do you know what? Let's do this conceptually. I'll keep this nice and simple for you. You ready? First, you just tweak the color towards fighting type, which is sort of like an orange. Then 1, 2. There you go. You can't say I am not delivering on every prompt I'm given. This one is KO-ka, because he KOs you as a fighting type. Let's move on. This one doesn't count. All right, give me a good one. What? Oh boy. This is exactly the same challenge as Aerodactyl. What am I supposed to do with this? Oh, I've got an idea. I'm gonna take Kabutops. I'm gonna lower his visibility. I think the way to squidgify Kabutops is we plug in a hose. This is like one of those air mattress pump things, right? So we're just gonna inflate him. All right, so the arms getting squidgier. I'm gonna shrink the claw as everything else inflates. I think the claws are retracting into the inflated fairy body. Same goes with the feet claws. On top of that, we're gonna tweak the proportions a little bit. We've got to cutify it. We're gonna chipify it. You take the head, we make it bigger. All right, now this is getting somewhere. The great thing about this is it transforms the texture so that like instead of like hard shell carapace, we can do little lines that show like the stretching, like the skin instead of carapace is like a balloon. It's all just one big smush with a couple of little pincers. Oh. I love him. He's got like a weird squidgy like six pack now, just because it's not carapace anymore. All right, let's slap in some line work. You ready? 1, 2. There you go. Just like that, we got our beautiful line work all done. Now again, I refer to my original fairy type list. Everything's pink. So I'm just gonna eyedropper over here on my Kabutops and just skew the hue all the way up to pink. Boop, pretty much it. It's just a big smudge ball with a much lighter tum-tum. I probably should have made it squidgier, just given it a round tummy instead of these massive abs, but you know, it's true to the original design. But this is gonna be one where the shading will really help with the squidginess. So I'm gonna really round out these shapes and the lower edges for some shading, and then pick our highlight and just go over a few choice areas with a little squidgy glimmer. This looks like very nothing like Kabutops, but Kabutops looks very nothing like a fairy type. So I think it works. I think this is Kashmootops. No, Kabupops. Oh, Kabupops is kind of perfect. I love that. All right, let's do one last one. And please, for the love of God, no more fairy types. Ooh, Primeape, ghost type. All right, first things first, let's get our references in here. Primeapes, I feel like, I don't know, I'm feeling like Primeape's underappreciated. He's sort of cool. He's a fighting type Pokemon. So we're going from fighting to ghost type. Primeapes are the shape of his body, big and round, takes up most of the attention. And the next thing your eyes are drawn to, I think, are these cuffs. They look like shackles. They're shackles. That's the word I was looking for. Now the thing about ghost type Pokemon is they are really like haunty. They're all like ghostly. Go figure. You know what I mean? Like fire can take on loads of different forms. Ghosts tend to just sort of be ghosty. So let's go ghosty. Specifically, I'm obviously keeping the shackles, but I'm thinking if I skip the legs and go straight to a ghosty tail like a lot of cartoon ghosts have, and then we just have one shackle around the tail. It keeps the shackle theme, but we only need one, which sort of simplifies our design and accentuates the tail, which is the ghosty bit. And the cool thing about the shackles thing is it allows me to separate the hands from the body. And if I want, I could do like a trail, like a ghosty arm, sort of essence of ghost trailing out and connecting the shackles to the body. I think that's sort of cool. But it's starting to aesthetically depart from the Primeape aesthetic or silhouette quite a bit. So we're gonna bring a bit of that back. Starting with the ears and the nose. He's got a piggy nose. I think that has to stay the same. And in fact, the eyes are pretty, you know, he's got sort of spooky, angry eyes. I think we can keep those in. And we're gonna have the angry lines around the forehead. I'm quite happy with that actually. This is another one of those examples of a design where as it comes together, I realize I like it a lot more than I would be drawn to the original design. And I don't know, maybe it's just that there's something a little too vanilla and maybe just familiar. We're mishmashing them up a little bit, just, you know, it makes it fun. It makes it feel new again. So here is my ghostly Primeape. Really happy with this. I think before we get to the color though, one thing I think that will really serve this design really well is adding a clipping mask to the line layer, grabbing like a purple or like a mid purple and coloring in these floaty areas. So as you can see, it sort of recolors the line. I'll leave the shackles, but actually I want to apply this to everywhere that is this ghost type Pokemon's sort of outline of his body. That way the shackles will look really, you know, physical, where the rest of his body will, you know, obviously look like more like a ghost. So we're going ghosty. Let's fill it in with a nice dim purple. And I can sort of shade inside here a little bit and go a little ethereal up in the highlights. And then the more detached areas I could probably, yeah, shade to be a bit of a lighter purple. Now with my ink, I can just fill in the final details. So we've got the eyes, the schnoz, which I'm gonna go a little more towards the purple and the pink, but you know, we'll keep it pink. Gotta respect the original. This is really working for me. And then last but not least, we got our shackle, a sharp, cool blue. And we just gotta add some reflectivenesses. That's the technical term. Hey, I like that. I think he looks really cool. I definitely think he's as recognizable as the original Primeape as he can be while being a ghost type. And I'm really happy with this. This was fun. Let's flash back. We've got Primeape as a ghost type. I haven't named it. Prime Apparition. Sure. We've got Kabupa, Kaioka, Pharaohdaki, and Kangastrike. Okay, I think my start and my finish are my strongest. But I'm not done yet, because over on Insert Art, I am joined by Alicia and Morgan, our brand new presenter. Very talented artists over there, and we're keeping this activity going on, except I'm gonna get them to see if they can guess, based on the silhouette, the original Pokemons and the mashups that I did. That's right, they are playing Who's That Pokemon. So go check out Insert Art. Subscribe here for more fun with art and creativity. Let me know in the comments what you want to see me try in the future, and if you want to see me continue this one and do a series out of it, let me know. That is it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. I missed.